Is my best friend? Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Is it a rat? Is it a slug? Is it a bottom feeder? One only knows. One only knows. Come on, listen, we got to beat this out of you. I mean it, if it's the last thing you do, I'll beat this artistic thoughts out of your mind. Alright? You're not getting away with that inside in this classroom, thinking you have some kind of free thoughts. You know, it's a no-go, a complete no-go. Do you hear me? Right, so what we're going through now here today, children, right? We have a guide to neopronouns from A to Z, right? And that's brought to you from CNN, okay? So we'll scroll on through here now, children. Sorry, what's that, Conor John?
Well, my dad always said that you should never trust a woman with red hair.
Well, a lot of people have red hair, John.
No, my dad always said you should never trust the ones with the dyed red hair. That are wacko jobs.
Well, your father has an awful opinion, I think, John.
Well, I don't know, because we met a few of them, and trust me, they're whack.
Yeah, John, they're whacked out of their house, maybe. John, please, you nearly kicked over the whole stand. I'll put you over there into the safe space corner now if you don't listen. Right, so children, so we're back. Unfortunately, there we had a bit of a problem with the electricity, with the power. We were coming in on the green energy. The windmill hasn't been spinning. There was not a lot of wind. But anyway, children, always remember the world needs our help. We have to save the world. Climate change is going to get us all. It's going to get you. So I want to make sure tonight that when you lie down, you think about it, the fear of it all, that it eats you up inside, and you get nothing but unmerciful nightmares, you know, and night terrors.
Let me just get it out.
Now, you're supposed to be listening, but I don't know why you won't listen to the teacher speaking. So anyway, children, listen up now. I want you to buckle down now and listen up now. So we're going to go through this guide now. It's a guide to neopronouns from A to Z, right? And that has all been brought to you now, children, from CNN. It's a trusted news network throughout America. A lot of people call it the Clinton News Network, you see. So be it. So here we go anyway. And I'd just like to point out, first and foremost, children, here are all the new pronouns that you need to get your heads around. Not listening, I don't know why you're playing the deaf ear. I told you already 1,000,001 times. There is no more artistic thoughts inside in the school/fishery anymore. Now, I'll be pumping this into your minds until your brain turns to spaghetti. Okay, trying to get your head around this. It'll be like me convincing you that 2 and 2 equals 5. Now, at the minute, I probably could convince you, your children, so that's why we're trying to get all this in on you while you're young. So here we go. So here's some pronouns now that never existed only up to the last couple of years. So I don't know how people of the past, them savages of the past, managed with him and her, and she and he, and they and them. You know, so thank God we have moved forward, thanks to CNN and the likes of, thanks to the like of Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum, okay? So anyway, and the likes of George Soros, of course, we can be mentioning all these legends. So here we go. Oh yes, not to mention the Biden cartel, that's correct, yes. So on we go anyway. A guide to neopronouns from A to Z. So now, children, so unfortunately now, children, my assistant is not with me. She got the sniffles there recently, so we told her take a month off. That's right, she said she hasn't been feeling well. And who are we to judge that? My assistant on her feelings? You know, I like to call her my assistant because sometimes she's a they, then sometimes she's a them, and sometimes she's just a he, or a we, or an ex, or an exers, or a t, or a term, or a tears, or a ni, or a nim, or a nears. So this is the kind of majestic words we'll be pumping into your brains. As I said, my assistants, I'm doing this solar, so you'll have to bear with me. It's not easy. How do you work these things again? I forget, damn it. I'm supposed to know what I'm doing up in this bitch. I mean, this. Sorry, children, what's that? Keep it down, children. Yes, I have it. Yes, I know it's a mouse. Yes, I know. I'm trying to learn. Please. Okay, so here's some examples brought to you from the world's trusted media, CNN. He's my boss. Her dog is cute. They have an exam today. Pronouns are a part of speech we have used to refer to ourselves and others. and as of the last few years, among its most hotly contested too. It's most hotly contested. Imagine that now, children, how things have changed, that's right, in the last couple of years. So we won't drag it on too long. As I said, the classes will be going on for 8 hours over the next couple of weeks. So we'll just give you a brief of what we'll be pumping into your heads over the new trimester. That's right, over the new trimester. So anyway, here we go. We'll have a little look. Some of the most common words in the English language have gender marks, including pronouns, but not all of them are binary. Here's where we go spaghetti on the brain, okay? Spaghetti on the brain, children, and this is what we're going to try and help you to get your heads around. The spaghetti on the brain, we call it. Spaghetti on the brain syndrome. Right, so here we go. But not all of them are binary. Consider the singular day. Consider the singular day. Well, you can't, unfortunately, consider the singular day. Day is usually more than one person. You know, you wouldn't say they when you're referring to one person. You'd say her or he, she or him. But unfortunately, that's right. And with singular they, okay, children, I want to get your heads around this. Preferred by some non-binary and trans people for whom gender pronouns do not fit. So they prefer to be called a they, meaning they're not a he, they're not a she, they're a they or a them. Okay, children, I hope you're absorbing this now, but maybe not at the minute. As I said, spaghetti syndrome is probably getting the best of you, but over the trimester, over the whole of this year, we will surely be to God, we will do, I probably shouldn't have said God, I mean the other fella, surely be to the other fella, we'll get your heads around this. So we'll move along anyway, as I said, because we only want to go briefly through this. There is Dennis Barron, and he's an English linguist, right, and he's he works in one of the universities. He's a professor, Professor Dennis Barron. Okay, so English and linguistics. So neural pronouns should be used and respected like other pronouns. He told CNN, the tried and tested news network. 1 minute now, children. 1 minute. We'll have to just mosey up here. You'll have to bear with me, people. Unfortunately, as I said, my assistant will date them X he. Z, ni, he, fi, well, is not well, has the sniffles. We told he, she, he, z, zing, that they could take a month off. So that's just the way it is. So we struggle on here. Near pronouns, alright, so here are the near pronouns being explained. Okay, we'll mosey on down here. As I say, it's just a briefing to keep you in the loop, So we'll just mosey on down because preferred LGBT, SGY, SWS, YZ, yes, no. So we're bad enough with all that, children. We'll get that into your head if it's the last thing we do as well. Like, I mean, if you go up to most LGBT people and you ask them what does LGBTQ, all that mean, and a lot of them will tell you they don't know. It's amazing, isn't it? But yet they want to pump it into the rest of your tiny little minds until you do know. So we'll just mosey on down here now, children, because this is the first class today that you need to get your head around. What's that, John?
Eggs, they're very good for...
Well, I don't know about that. Eggs are actually little creatures. You do know that they're little animals.
Yeah, but I love eggs. My mother, my father, all of us, the gang of us, we love eggs. And we always eat them every morning. They're right tasty altogether, and a bit of toast and butter.
Well, you might do that. But a lot of us in this class are now, listen to me now, Conor John. You are offending people left, right and centre of your children are being offended everywhere. Look at little Bridget. Bridget, are you after being offended there? What's that? No, you're not offended. Anyone put up their hands here? Anyone offended by that? No hands up. No one's offended by what he just said there about the little egg and the misfortunate chickens. No one's offended. Not one person in the class is offended. One hand up. Imagine that. All your hands will be up by the end of the trimester. That's right. Because chickens, they're eggs. They're little creatures. You know, they're animals. They have rights. They have rights to life. You know, and you should never eat them diabolical chicken eggs. You know. Must admit, I am on the regular myself. I mean, protect the animals, okay? Protect the animals and up the vegans, that's right, up the vegans. Now, I hope you'll all learn from this now. Back to it anyway, right, children? Now, listen up to me, children. You're not listening. I don't know why you're playing the deaf ear. So here we go, so people again. Here we go again. Children, you're going to love this one. I mean to say, talking about spaghetti on the brain. It only gets better. Thank you. Brought to you again by the tried and tested network, the Clinton News Network. Right, so here we go. So, right, here are a few relative common neopronouns and how to use them from the Human Rights Campaign. So the Human Rights Campaign, now people, children are bringing us this. Note, some of these pronouns may be pronounced differently based on their user. Okay, so we'll just go through some of the, this should be relatively easy to get your mind around now, children. All together now, XE/YXYR, commonly pronounced zeer. Okay, that's XE/XYR. It's commonly pronounced as zeer. Now, I know you're wondering how can you get zeer out of XE and XYR, but that's not here nor zeer. Okay, so now, so we'll move on to the next one. I asked XYR meaning zeer, I asked zeer to come to the movies. XZ said yes. Now, children, do you understand? We'll go through it again. XE/XYR, okay, commonly pronounced as zeer. So I asked XYR or Z or zeer, sorry, my mistake, zeer. I asked zeer XYR to come to the movies, and Z said yes. It's that easy now, children. I'm not going to keep going over it with you. Better get your mind around this, or your grades will be marked as just desperately bad. Okay, it'll be F's all wrong for everyone in this class if you don't have them off to a T by the end of this semester. So we'll move along now, children. Move along. So ZE/ZIR or ZE/HIR, commonly pronounced as zeer or Z here. I know you're thinking XE/YXR is normally Z or zeer, but this time it's not. This time it is not, so you better keep your mind on that. This time ZE/ZIR or ZE/HIR is commonly pronounced as zeer or Z here. Do you understand? So I do not want them to get mixed up. As I said, I'm not going to keep going over it. You better get your minds around this. The teacher graded zeer paper today and Z got an A. So zeer is Z and Z is zeer. Do you understand that? As I said, listen, this is child's play now. This is child's play. So we move down here again. So Z said himself that I'm her favourite neighbour. So now, you understand again? Z said herself that I'm her favourite neighbour. Now, Z can also be the X and the E, but it can never be the X, Y and the R. But here, well, that can never be ZE or ZIR. Oh no, but it can be ZE. My mistake. See, I mean, even I can get confused sometimes. So I can understand, children, how you might get spaghetti syndrome on the brain. Come on, listen, we got to beat this out of you. I mean it, if it's the last thing you do, but please God, you'll work your way through it like the rest of it. I too was a normal person up till recently, when they came in and told me, if you don't start spitting out all this shit, you won't get no wages and you'll be out of a job. And I wasn't having that, so I said I will say whatever it says to keep the money in the pocket. And fuck ye and your religious belief. I mean, and I'll do anything. John, you have something else to say?
Well, my father always said going to Wikipedia looking for the truth is like going to hell looking for God.
Sit down, Connor John. I'll tell you one thing, your father's a way with words, alright. I'll give him that, he has a way with words. Connor John, just please, you're upsetting the whole class. My mind is fried over you. So back here again with us children, right? EY/EM/ear, commonly pronounced as AYE/EM/ear. Like, oh, here's another word now, children, that's fantastic. Really the way they're working this through on the neopronouns. Ear, something you breathe in. Ear. So you could say, there was a time now you would say, John was breathing in the fresh air. he liked it. But now, if you might not be able to say that, you might have to say something like, John was breathing in the fresh air, X or XYR, meaning Z or zeer, or maybe XYR or XE, or Z or zeer, or Z or here, or you know, you're not too sure where you could go with that, so you just have to double check that every time you speak like that. John was breathing in the air. You cannot say he liked it. How do you know that John doesn't recognize himself today as maybe a slug, a rat or something like that? Because you can choose what you like. You know, you can be what you like when you like. So don't ever forget that. John was breathing in the fresh air. Zeer, here, Z, zip, Z, liked it, okay? But you have to be sure when you're saying that. We don't want to offend John's feelings, you know. We do not. He could go home and cry for weeks on end. You know, he could be out of work over it. You know, you just don't know what devastating effect your words might have on a grown man dressed up like a woman, or just a grown man that carries on like a woman. You see, because a lot of men today, that's true, they are very feminist, and that's how we like them, feminists just like ourselves. So on we trot, because you see these masculine men, they're a damn disgrace. These masculine men, if there was no masculine man left on this planet, I'd be a happier widow, a happy old witch myself. I mean a happier person, that's what I would be. So, and masculine toxicity is just disgusting, alright, it's disgusting. When you look at the men of the 80s and the 90s, even up to 2000, I mean, they really look like masculine, toxic men. Of course, today you have a lot of the men today that come around with the bouncy hair. Testosterone is about 30% of what it would have been of men back in the 80s and the 90s. So really, our feminist agenda is really pushing through to the men. That's it. Eventually, they're getting it through the propaganda and maybe through the chemicals in the water. Again, it's coming at you in a variety of ways. You know, the chemicals in your food, you know, the chemicals falling from the sky. It's relentless and it's endless. But when you're a feminazi like myself, well, we'll just keep her lit. So we'll move on down here now, children. Sorry I drifted there for a bit. I'm taking M to the park today. EY will say E wants to bring Air, her phone, or Air camera to capture the garden for himself. Now, let's get your head around this, so children, now, ready? I'm taking M to the park today. He wants to bring Air camera to capture the garden for himself, okay? It's like someone with an impediment, a speech impediment. So basically, if you had a speech impediment, maybe you'd fly through these a lot easier. And of course, once you get spaghetti, you know, you probably most likely fly through that, you know. But look, on we'll go on anyway. So I'm taking him to the park today. He wants to bring Air camera to capture the garden for himself. It's as simple as that. There's not a lot to it, children, okay? I'm taking him to the park today. He wants to bring Air camera to capture the garden for himself. Okay, so as I said, if you had a speech impediment, this would most likely work in your favour. You could call yourself special if you liked. It's just simple as that. So you've got to know who you're referring to. When I say air, commonly pronounced as air, what does that mean? What does that bring to the forefront of your little mind? You know, is your brain at this very minute, the more you look at it, getting spaghetti syndrome?
Let me just get it out.
No, I'd say so. But we'll knock it out of you till you can see that clear as day, like I can see. I can see clear as day. That's basically saying she commonly pronounced as air. You see, it's not that hard once you get your head around it. Okay, so AE is my best friend. Most of AER's weekday evenings are spent at my house. Now, it's very obviously that AE is non-binary, so, and AER's also in the spiritual binary realm. So basically, when you're speaking here now, obviously, unless I know who I'm speaking about, and there is a picture there with their little skunks and all the little bullshit that they put up, that they call themselves. Well, if that was stuck up there, I might understand who AE and my best friend is. AE, my best friend. Is it a dog? Is it a cat? Is it a rat? Is it a slug? Is it a bottom feeder? One only knows. And most of Ayers weekly evenings are spent at my house. So is the bottom feeder at the house? Is it a creature? We just don't know. But obviously by the end of this year, ye will most definitely know. So as I said anyway, so just keep an eye on that, people, right? As the new year comes in, the new school trimester starts, just keep an eye on that. What kind of information and agendas that are being pushed on your children that you mightn't have agreed to. You mightn't have said, oh, I didn't sign off on my child's mind being confused completely. Bad enough. I mean, with the flags and stuff all over the place and all the agendas they push, but I mean, what in the name of God? I mean, this can only lead to one thing, the destruction of a child's mind and the destruction of civilization as it plummets spirals out of control. Because if you look at civilization, basically, for over the last couple of years, it's amazing how fast it's falling. It is literally crumbling to the fucking ground. Okay? And you see, they'll come for your property, they'll come for your freedom, they'll come for your money, and eventually they'll come for all the words coming out of your mouth, you know, the thought police. Then they'll come for the pronouns and your, you know, all this, they'll come down to the language. They start at the top and they work their way down and down until they're taking the very words out of your mouth and twisting them to something they're not, until you have full-blown 100% spaghetti syndrome on the brain. So with that said, people of the world, God bless you, God bless your family. And always remember, lads, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, never give up and always, me fishing rod, keep her left.